So this popped off recently, and I didn't actually get a chance to cover it. But I'm covering that. I'm covering it now. We're finally getting around to the whole Offkai situation. I was originally gonna talk about the whole problem, and that's a complete separate rabbit hole. But I wanted to talk about this Offkai situation because it's insane, and it's the absolute civil war that has ensued from the criticism thrown at Offkai over including Fansly as a sponsor. I think they're putting them in like the main hall, if I remember correctly. It's fucking insane, dude.
Hey, what's up, guys? Ruff here.
Get into it.
So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Offkai Expo situation. For those who are not familiar, this is a VTuber-centered convention. This is their 5th time doing it. But right now, they are getting absolutely blasted on Twitter. They faced controversy before, as I will talk about shortly. But this time, a lot of people are concerned due to the very least their vagueness about a recent sponsor and set of related events, or at the maximum, people are concerned that unaccompanied minors that are allowed at this event will be exposed to adult content.
Yeah.
So here's...
And by the way, I had no idea that those were the rules for Offkai. Like, I had no idea that they allowed 13 and 17-year-olds. Like, to me, that shit's insane. Like, really? What? If you're going to allow children into your event, maybe having 18 plus, content creators and platforms into the event just isn't a good idea. And if you're going to do that, maybe have that in like the after hours or something like that.
Offkai Expo and their main
don't
page.
Understand.
This is an event in California,
who thought
which will make
that was a
in just a second.
Good idea.
That'll be underway in...
By the way, that was actually my comment. That was my comment to the original tweet from Offkai. What I replied to the announcement from Offkai, and all I said was "Welcome to California." Only in California, baby.
Now, recently, a lot of people discovered that one of the major sponsors of Offkai Expo Generation 5 is Fansly. Now, let me describe this platform as it's described on their page. Fansly is the site for spicy VTubers and more. This 18-plus site is full of the top VTubers in the space,
spicy VTubers,
with the
my
ability
favorite.
to sell paywalled content, stream, and connect with their fans. Find your next Oshi at this website with the / VTuber.
Oh,
this video's
boy.
gonna get absolutely fried in the algorithm because I'm saying all these no words and phrases. So
Are those really no words? Really?
By liking this video, commenting, or even subbing, because that will help counterbalance the bots who are going to be very angry at the words I'm saying.
Don't worry, Rev. I already liked
sponsor, which, by the way, seems to be a very recently added one. And yeah, not only is this kind of the...
By the way, I 100% think that the reason they picked up Fansly as a sponsor for Offkai is because FaZe Connect pulled out of Offkai. That is, in my opinion, that's 100% what happened here. Right? They lost FaZe Connect, so Fansly is the replacement of FaZe Connect.
Modern state of Western VTubing right now, where there's so much focus on adult content and platforms like this.
Yep.
It also raises questions as to whether or not this is a good idea for an event like this, because this convention is not 18 plus by itself. There are plenty of 18 plus VTuber focused conventions out there, and if they want to have a sponsor like this, it would, I guess, make sense, and it would be more appropriate. But Offkai is not.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Event. In fact, as we'll see, minors can attend, including unaccompanied minors. So
I originally saw that from Kirsha. I saw her
today, there's been a lot of backlash.
And put
they
that,
say your next Oshi is waiting. And for those who are not too familiar with VTubers, that basically means
screenshot
your
of their
favorite
FAQ.
VTuber, right? So they continue on saying, we're excited to announce that Fansly is joining Offkai Generation 5 come find them at the exhibitor hall and meet some of
The
their
exhibitor hall. That's where it
incredible
was.
talents.
Wow.
That's a debatable phrase if we're being honest.
It takes a lot of talent to be a Rev. Whoa, some Christian you are.
For a platform that is exclusively for posting not safe for work content. But then again, let's keep moving here, right? You can see their entire caption is about finding the best 18 plus website where your next Oshi and so much more will be waiting.
Wow, really?
As
You
I
don't
pointed out
say.
earlier, of course, this is happening in California, many such cases.
California,
Now, the
if you
replies are
will.
not just dunking on this announcement, it's pointing out some legitimate concerns that are not addressed at all by this post or anything on their website right now. I can see Madam Savvy saying kids walk around during the day. Surely this is not going to be done while kids are around, correct? Surely we're not going to put adult content in front of children.
Based savvy as always.
And here's a quote from someone who makes this sort of content, and even they have an issue with this sort of concept and at least the details we have surrounding it right now. I don't mind Fansly, obviously, I do not safe for work content there myself. However, I don't think this should be in the convention where there are children walking around. If it's in an adult-only section, that's one thing, but I don't think it is. And right now, just looking around at the available information,
extremely hot take, baby.
And at the very least, this shows little regard for what's going on at this convention. If you're going to introduce something like this, you should make it very clear this is barred, 18 plus only. But right now, we know this convention allows children, and they're having...
It's like that whole thing, I don't remember what convention it was exactly, but I remember there was like a convention that banned like bunny cosplay because they were having like a like Easter themed event for children at the same venue. And I remember that, and if I remember correctly, the venue was pretty quick about like clarifying, the whole reason behind doing that. And you have not really seen that from Offkai, or at least I haven't seen any additional announcements with additional information about it, clarifying that like, hey, this is gonna be like an after hours thing, or this is gonna be like an 18 plus only section that you can only get into with ID and stuff like that, right? You're not really seeing that, which, obviously people are going to be concerned, especially when your convention is not explicitly 18 plus.
This as a prominent sponsor and part of
a
their
bit of a
overall
fucking problem,
convention.
no?
That is something to look into, okay? This isn't just simply shaming VTubers for having these sorts of platforms. It's asking very legitimate questions and raising legitimate concerns about whether or not kids at the convention will be exposed to this stuff. And one of the people to raise these concerns and some very valid questions is Kirsha.
Yeah,
I'm sure most of you are familiar with this VTuber. She has not only some insight on the situation, but also has a bit of a history with Offkai. In fact,
absolutely insane, man. The Foxu is not allowed at Offkai for being quote-unquote controversial. But Fansly, having and a place where, children could potentially be exposed to this 18 plus content, that's A-okay. That's no issue there, all right?
Back in 2023, 2024, I believe, I made this video
I think it was in
about
24.
a very complex
it was 24 or
situation
23, I can't remember, it's been a
Offkai,
while.
where Kirsha was supposed to have a panel there, and she was shut down, essentially for wrong thing. I'll put a link to this video in the description if you want to check it out. But long story short, she was blacklisted as a featured guest, but still allowed to go to the convention and buy a ticket and spend money, which is just insulting. But a lot of it had to do with her edgy content, which is
super edgy and controversial content. And by the way, Kirsha and Rev and Straub actually ended up doing a little like a ghetto meet and greet in a like an alleyway near Offkai, and yeah, that was super awesome to see. I wish I could have gone, but yeah, it was super awesome to see.
Ironic given what they're allowing now, and this is just one of many screenshots.
Well, you don't get it, Rev. All right, Kirsha and Fansly Whores are not the same. Okay, obviously the Fansly Whores are better than the Foxu.
From that video where some of the people involved with the convention explained why she was banned. And it says a lot of them come down to gender identity and DEI type issues she has talked about. And this is just a sample of what was sent to Kirsha, and it's absolutely ridiculous. You can pause and read for yourself. One of the examples provided always makes me laugh. They're showing this as a reason why she's not allowed to be a featured guest, where she made a joke about pronouns on Discord, where she had to make a choice about pronouns after it was rolled out for the platform.
Yep, I remember that.
She labeled herself as Burger/Queen.
Yep.
And apparently that is too much wrong thing. That is far beyond what's
Too far, man. Too far.
allowed at Offkai. So obviously she has a bit of a history, and also me and my wife, Darling Straub, have a bit of a history because we saw what was happening with Kirsha.
Yep.
And we were supposed to be featured guests at this convention.
To be honest, Straub wasn't like she wasn't really making the Christian based content at this point yet, but Rev alone, like, I'm surprised Rev didn't also get the boot like Kirsha did. Like, I'm surprised Kirsha was the one that got the hit the quickest.
And we basically said, if you don't reinstate Kirsha,
Crazy
we're
stuff.
not going to be guests anymore. And, well, guess what? We weren't guests because they never corrected their mistakes involving that previous situation. But let's return to the current situation. So Kirsha points this out, saying,
Pretty base from Reverend Straub, by the way, taking a stance like that. That was I greatly respect that. All right, I already liked Rev and Straub as it was, but that was awesome. That was very awesome of them to do.
Why is this marketed in the exhibitor hall instead of the after hours yabai market where the adult content is typically located?
I've never been to Offkai, but I imagine they have one, right? You would think that they would keep the Fansly stuff for the after hours. I guess maybe because Fansly is likely a big sponsor. Fansly was like, "No, we want our shit to, we want our shit to be present, right? We don't want to be in the after hour stuff where people might not see us. We might not get the same, traction that we would if we were there during normal hours, right? That would be my guess, anyways."
This is also a con that allows unaccompanied minors. And she points out this section that says, I am between 13 to 17 years old. Do my parents have to accompany me at the convention or attend the convention? From 13 to 17, minors may attend the convention on their own, with or without their parents, with written permission from your parents or a legal guardian in order to attend. Permission is obtained by downloading and printing out this minor consent form. Your parent or legal guardian must fill out the form and then have it taken to a notary and signed in the notary's presence. The other way permission can be obtained is to have your parents come to the registration with you and fill out the parental consent form on site.
By the way, terrible. I personally, I don't think parents should be taking their children to VTuber conventions, but that's just me personally. I don't think that's a very good idea. All right, there are a little too many degens in this sphere of the internet, if you will.
Only in
And a lot of crazies as well.
California, ladies and gentlemen, would something like this exist. We have these forms that would allow.
Honestly, children shouldn't really be allowed to attend conventions without a guardian in general. I feel like that's just a bad idea.
A 13 to 17-year-old to pull up to a convention that has adult content at it. And based on what Kirsha's describing, it's in places that seem to be open to the general public who's attending this convention. It's not roped off or anything like that, as far as we know. And looking at the actual website itself, what she's pointing out is very real. Here is the related section we just read. And here's the actual form, by the way, which is just absolutely crazy. Here's an idea. If you want to go into this route of having adult platforms sponsor your convention and have specific events surrounding it, and you want to use it as a marketing tool and as a way to bring in not only featured guests, but also to promote them and your convention through these adult platforms, how about you just make the event 18 plus?
Yeah, if they just made the event 18 plus, nobody would really give a shit. I mean, obviously, you're still gonna have people like me, talking about the whore problem. But in general, if it was not an 18 plus event, nobody would give a shit, me included. I probably would have never called out all of those VTubers that do 18 plus content trying to defend this shit or making X statement about this. I probably wouldn't have called them out and called them whores on Twitter if Offkai was just an 18 plus convention. Because if it's an 18 plus convention, that doesn't really matter. I don't really give too much of a fuck about what they're doing. But the fact that it's not an 18 plus convention makes it a bit of a problem, right? You have people bringing up extremely valid questions about this because they're not being clear about it. They're not, saying like, yeah, this is going to be an after hours. No, they're not really giving us much to work with here. So we just kind of have to infer shit.
There's an idea. Or will that be like a financial loss or something? Or will it upset the convention staff that we know is already pretty wackadoo over at Offkai?
I could see it. I could see them crashing out if Offkai took some sort of stance against Fansly and 18 plus content creators in general, right? Because they're, a lot of those, a lot of the retards here in California are very like sex work is real work. That whole stupid fucking movement.
But yeah, this is pretty crazy. Just make it 18 plus and then, have a ball with all this stuff. But, going back to this is all a very, very legitimate concern that Kirsche is raising. Like, if you're going to make such a big deal out of bringing this platform as a sponsor and having related events, you should make these sorts of things very separate, far and away. This already sounds like a bad idea, letting these unaccompanied minors being at Offkai, but it's even worse.
Now you're having like 18 plus shit involved as well. That is not it's a recipe for disaster, really,
or anything, because I can already hear people screeching about this, saying how Kirsche is being some bigot or something for pointing this stuff out. But no, you should not want unaccompanied minors at a convention where one of the sponsors is Fansly, where they're also running a bunch of related events. And you can see people pointing out at Vexpo, any and all related not safe for work content happened in a corner of the hall. Everything was clearly labeled, hidden behind curtains, and had people on watch duty to avoid minors getting anywhere close.
Yeah.
I seriously hope Offkai is wise enough to create a similar plan, because the con staff are all neo-Marxists who are also hypersexual deviants. Well, they don't have a very good reputation, that's for sure.
I 100% agree with that, by the way. And again, I've never been to like a VTuber convention. I haven't been to Vexpo. I've never been to Offkai. The only convention I've really ever been to was Evo in Vegas. And I mean, yeah, well, for starters, you don't really have like, at least I didn't really see it that much. You don't really have that much 18 plus stuff like at Evo, right? But yeah, that shit is you would hope that shit is well hidden, right? You have to go out of your way to find that stuff, where it's like an after hours thing, right? It's just a messy situation, and I also don't really trust the Offkai staff, because again, I 100% agree with that reply that or comment that the staff at Offkai are these, crazy Marxist Californians. You're the literal stereotype of what you think of when you think California.
And also, again, just odd that all this is allowed and such a focus at a convention like this that is not an 18 plus event. And then I would go to their Instagram where they also announced this and look at some of the replies, but they don't have like any presence over here. In fact, there's 2 replies and I don't really know where they stand. One saying interesting ... and the other saying crazy. I don't know if they're excited about this or what, but overall, this entire situation is very odd. And
as a Gen Zer, I understand this lingo, chat. The interesting ... I think they're against it. Okay, I think the ... gives it away. Crazy, I could see it going either way, to be honest, but I would probably guess that I would lean more towards like it being a negative type of crazy,
if you're going to go this route with your convention,
I use those exact same words as well, by the way.
Well, you should be a lot more specific about what this entails and how it's going
100%.
to be exposed to your convention goers that include unaccompanied minors. And on top of that, there's the irony of people like Kirsha in the past being banned for their wrong think, or at least banned as guests, featured guests. And then you allow this sort of stuff, and you seem to have really no guardrails in place to police and really control what's going on with this event and anything related to it. So, yeah, these are all questions that should have been answered already. They should have been answered at the very announcement itself. But now there is plenty of stir on social media, and we'll see if Offkai has any response because it's been hours already, and they've been radio silent. So, I don't know. That's really my
I don't think they're gonna say anything about it
right now. But that's going to do it for this video.
To be honest.
If you guys enjoyed, consider liking the video.
I don't think they give a shit.
Subscribing as well for daily uploads here on YouTube, as well as multiple streams a week on the same platform. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
I did enjoy it, Rev. Thank you. There you have it, ladies and germs. That is the Offkai situation. Absolutely insane. So yeah, chat, I honestly don't think they give a shit. I don't think they're gonna respond to it. It's been days now, and I haven't seen anything about Offkai responding. I haven't seen it. The only thing I've seen from Offkai is the usual suspects trying to defend this stuff, and the people quoting the original announcement from Offkai. So yeah, I haven't seen any updates on it. And yeah, this happened a good while back now. It's been multiple days. So you would think that they would respond to it by now, especially with the amount of outrage it got. But I honestly, I don't think they care because, again, California.